What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And I hope you guys are ready for some more boat content, because got the boat back in the garage. It's warmed up outside. It's almost 70 out there today, but it's just super windy, so I'll leave the door shut. A little better audio, but we're gonna get started on redoing this entire thing. It's gonna look like a brand new boat here in a couple of weeks. So today my plan is I'm going to work on actually tearing down. I want to get the console out, get my boxes out that I built, and then get the seats out, because the seats are actually just mounted to the floor. So, and you can see back here, I tore just a little piece of carpet back just to see how hard it was going to be. And this boat is I think it's a 92. So this carpet's been on here for almost 30 years. So it actually peels off super easy. Just grab it with a pair of pliers and it peels right back. And then I was doing some testing, sanding on it just to see what it was going to take to remove all the glue. And these two little palm sanders worked pretty slick. I sanded on that for probably a total of 30 seconds, and you can see it's just about ready to re-glue. I'll probably spend a little extra time on it just to get it perfect. I'm a little anal retentive on that stuff, but yeah, so we're back in the boat business. We're going to tear this bass tracker down today. So if you guys want to see how all the components come out, stay tuned to this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be redoing the whole floor. I'm going to do a deck extension up front and a larger tackle storage area. I'm also going to add an access location to the front storage from the top deck, because this model didn't have it. I know a couple of years later on they added that on the top instead of it being on the side, so you can access. I want to be able to access the under deck storage from on top, which will be pretty slick. So, but let's get started. I think I'm going to start on the seats and get those taken out, and I haven't decided. I wanted you guys to let me know what your thoughts are, if people have done this or what is the best practice. But I have vinyl that I'm going to do the flooring for sure. But I haven't decided on like the vertical areas and like the vertical areas on the seats and then like the side of the boat. Should I just redo that in carpet, or should I do that in vinyl? I'm kind of thinking carpet, just for the noise deadening and soak up a little bit of the vibration when you're on the water. And you're not standing on it, so it shouldn't get dirty. But I really haven't decided. So if you guys have pros and cons, or if you guys have done this, or if you've seen it done, what's the best way? I see it done both ways on new boats. We went down to Bass Pro Shop yesterday and I looked at a couple of new boats. All the vertical surfaces were still carpet and all the horizontal surfaces were vinyl. So I haven't decided yet. I'm leaning towards the carpet just because I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough vinyl to do the whole thing, but we'll see what happens. But the back deck, so all the lids for the live box, live well, and for the engine control stuff, and then the deck itself, and then it's going to wrap over. And so this vertical surface will be vinyl for sure. And then the front deck, and then the entire floor of the boat down here. So I'm pretty excited about it. I should bring this boat back to life, make it look just about brand new. And then I'm also thinking about painting the console. The old gray look there, I'm not sure about, so let me know your thoughts there. I'm thinking of like a sharper gray, a little bit darker, makes it pop a little bit more, bring some more life into it. But let me know what you guys think. So let's go ahead and get started, get these seats out. All right, so the first step, the seats themselves are just screwed to the hinge with 4 screws on each seat. And then the seat bases, these tubs and storage areas, are just screwed down to the bottom deck. So let's get these babies ripped out. All right, we are free. Got the 2 storage containers, which are the seat bottoms, but you can see the hardware they used, the self tappers. Some of them looked good, some of them were just completely rusted through and broken. So it's actually good, because you don't want to be going across the water and having your whole seat come unattached from the bottom of your boat. It wouldn't be a good thing. So it's probably a good thing we're doing this. And obviously the floor is a little bit soft right over in that area, which gets the most use when you're driving. So, but I'm gonna get these things pulled out of here and we'll see what it looks. I've never seen it without them in here. And then the next thing is the console, which is going to be a little trickier because it's got all the wiring and everything going to it. So we'll see what we can do there. All right, so here's a good look at the bottom of the boat with the seats out. You can see how much dirt had just collected all around them. And then the drain for all the water. It's actually got a bunch of tiny rocks and stuff in it. So it'll be good to get that out of there and clean it all up. But overall, it looks pretty darn good. And it doesn't look like I'm going to have to remove the sides of the boat to get the flooring out. So I was a little nervous about that, having to take both sides off, which I'm probably going to take them off anyways to redo the carpet, but should make it easier just to get this piece of wood out, and I'll be able to measure it right in here now, just to see how big of a piece I need, which just looks like a 4x8 sheet of plywood, which is good. I was hoping I wasn't going to have a seam in there. So let's take a look at this console and see what it's going to take to remove. Alright, so let's take a look at how this console's connected here. Looks like it's all just screwed to the side panels there, and then to the floor all the way around, and then a few on that angled piece there. So it shouldn't be too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that baby taken out of there. I'm a pretty big guy, I'm 6'3", so getting down in the bottom of this boat's not exactly fun, but it's doable. So I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get all the screws taken out, and then I'll show you where we're at. So okay, I got the console all unbolted. There was like 6 or 8 bolts around the bottom on the floor, and then a few going up the side panel, and then across the top. You guys can see under here. The biggest issue I'm going to have now is if I want to redo the carpet on this panel here, I'm going to have to unplug all my wiring and feed it back through this hole right here. So there's only one hole coming through that panel. So in order to get that panel off of there, you got to undo all the wiring, which isn't bad. It's just going to take a lot of time. And I'll have to mark everything so I know exactly where it goes back to. So I haven't decided if I'm going to tackle that yet. But the other side, the panel should be easy to come off. It's just bolted around the top and then down the side. But I'm going to go ahead and pull my rod locker off now. And then the only thing left is that front deck, which I've had off before. You guys saw that. So if you haven't seen that, go check out my video where I went through and wired up that Helix 7 to the front. So yeah, it's going to be a little more challenging on the console side. I was hoping I was just going to be able to disconnect it and prop it up off of the deck, use the front deck and the back deck and then pull the floor of the boat out, and then put the floor back in, put everything back down. But I would like to redo all the upholstery, just to make the whole boat look consistent and new. But we'll see how much I want to tackle. I think if I'm already going to go this far, I'm probably going to go the whole distance and do the whole thing. So, but it's just going to take a lot of time unplugging all that stuff. So let's pull this rod locker off quick. You guys, if you haven't seen that video, I built this rod locker and installed it, and it's just bolted around to the floor and then one to the front wall there. So it comes off real easy. And I'll get all the screws out of that. We'll pull that out and we'll see what the boat looks like empty. All right. Took about a minute and she's disconnected. So I'm gonna pull that out of the boat, set it off to the side, and then I'll be ready to start looking at this floor, trying to find all the hardware. It's all buried down into the carpet and rotten wood. And when I was actually working on that, getting the console off, I stepped right here by the corner of this, where the seat used to be, and it was completely rotten out. So good thing we're getting to it this year. I'm not sure that it would have lasted one more year, but 28 years is a pretty dang good run for a boat. So, and it sat outside for, before I bought it, probably several years. It just sat outside unused. The guy had a tarp that was kind of over the seats, but that just held water even more. So I pretty much saved this thing. It was headed for the scrapyard if someone didn't buy it. So, and overall I love it. It's been a great boat so far. I like the little tinkering projects, you know, fixing things up. Rebuilt the engine, and so now we're gonna redo the whole interior. That's basically gonna be a brand new bass tracker. So but let's get this taken out and then we'll start looking at that floor a little closer. All right, as you can see, I've been working on the floor, getting all these screws, trying to find them all. Under the carpet's been tough, and then they've all been just so rusty. I'd say 80% of them have broken when I got them out. But did some more work on the console. I got it to a position now where I can see everything up under there, so you can see how everything works. This is the steering cable here, and then there's actually quick disconnects on the main harness. So the only thing is the speedometer, which I had a boat fire several years back there, and it melted the speedometer hose back there, so it's no good anyways. So I'm gonna just disconnect that. I use the GPS for my speed, so I don't need that anyways. But this will make it easy to disconnect this skirt all the way around here. You can see it's just Phillips head screws up into the bottom, and then I'm gonna clean up. I had everything zip tied up, and I cut all the zip ties so that I could get this to flip over to give it enough length. But I'm gonna go ahead and fix all this wiring, make it all nice and neat up underneath of there so it doesn't cause any problems in the future. And then I should be able to remove this panel using these quick disconnects, so that should be nice. I have 2 wires that I've added, but I'll just disconnect those from the fuse box. Saves me from having to unplug everything, so glad to find those there. Hopefully they don't break. They look pretty old and brittle when I pull them apart, but otherwise, yeah, the flooring, you can see it was pretty rotted out. It's definitely time for replacement, and I had to pull the carpet up to be able to find all the fasteners. But yeah, so far so good. Everything's been moving along. I've been working on it probably 2 hours now. Everything's been moving along pretty good. I think now that I've got this all disconnected, I'll be able to move it out of the way, which should help tremendously, and I won't have to actually take it completely out of the boat, so that will be nice. But I'm gonna try and finish up getting everything loose on the floor today and come up with a brace, probably from the rear deck to the front deck, for this console, so I can set it on that. and should be able to replace the floor easy then. But that's gonna do it for this guy, or for this video, guys. Thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna have probably, this is quite a project, so it'll probably be between 5 and 10 videos to get through the whole thing. I don't want to make them super long. So the next step will be stripping all the rest of the carpet off of the back deck, getting the floor out, the front deck off, and like I said, I want to get a hatch up front here so I can access that storage underneath the deck. And then I'm also going to evaluate putting an additional storage box on this side over here. So it's going to be looking good. But thanks for stopping by, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe. There's going to be a bunch more boat videos coming your way, so stay tuned to the channel. We'll catch you guys on the next one.